outside the house, when you enter, it just comes with you. And we do regional language even outside. So if anybody who knows my language, then there is no harm in it. It's just the possibility that they might not. But everybody in my city knows the regional language, right? The language of the city. So everybody knows that. So that goes on a lot. And so English is very lower here because we do a regional language freely. But when talking to a person from another city, when somebody who does not know the regional language, then we do it in English.
I see. That's interesting.
And sorry, because we have a lot of problems to broadcast this meeting in YouTube, but now we will start this meeting in YouTube. And Akila,
That's great.
I will start again.
Sure.
No, our meeting, but only for start other people to share to follow us in YouTube. And thank you for accept this invite. And it's my best teacher because you teached me a lot in Egypt to teach me not only English but what happening in India and in your culture, in your country. And I liked it a lot because I feel I felt in that moment uh, how near and how far us culture is. But I like so much Indians because it's happy people, but I would like to you tell again a little bit more about your study and your country and what you make in India. Thank you a lot.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I'm very happy that you called me here and I get to talk to these people. And it's completely my pleasure here. So, hi, I'm from India and I'm from the southern part of India. And I'm here to talk about how it is like living, studying, and being in India. So, to start with, India is famous for our handlooms. So, we do a lot of, say, clothing by hand. We weave them, we stitch them, and a lot of spices are known. So, you must already know that the Portuguese have come here. And so we're known for the spices and we're known for our clothing line. So basically, it's been a cultural and a heritage walkthrough here, passed on from generations. And we hold a lot of values very close to heart. Like we have our own clothing, like the sari. Have you ever seen a sari?
Yep.
Spun with silk, raw silk, and
Really
then
beautiful.
thank you. So
But
that's very
is
famous
that
here.
that kind of outfit it's worn in which situation?
So the grand ones are the ones which heavy work. They are worn for any occasions like the wedding or any ceremony that is happening. And then the simple ones are worn every day actually. So if you
Oh,
see
really?
the women out there, every day they wear saris. And then there are some who wear Western clothes, like there is nothing stopping you from it. But then everybody in, say, the previous generation, like your mother or anybody as old as her, they all wear a sari. So it's very common here.
I see.
So, I mean, we stand out in like a few things, I mean, a lot of things actually. And a few things to name are what we wear, and then what we eat. We love spices, we love spicy food. And so we love cooking in that.
I don't know if you're aware, but we've had some years ago a soap opera called Path to India, and Caminho
Really?
das Índias, and then it talked. Do you remember that, guys? Then it talked about India and how beautiful and all about the traditions and
Wait,
religion.
did that talk about the elephants and monkeys on the road of India? Because we don't have any.
No, that was not the stereotype. It was a really beautiful stereotype of um, a really a beautiful
Hallelujah then.
religion, strong values, a really sense of self and as people,
It
Um,
sounds like a beautiful documentary. I wish I can get my hands on it, then
yeah,
I would
but
watch
it's
it.
a soap opera, so there is all there's romance going on. So yeah, it's nice.
Sounds nice to me, but then yes, I really feel all of you should visit this country here to get a taste of something from the other side. Like, our life, and in comparison, the day life here, the weather here, that is going to take you some time. It's really hot here. We do not have snowfalls. So you guys have to come experience this side and then just see how different we all are. And studying here has been great because everybody is into education here. So that is one of your top priorities. In life, it's the set rules here that you have to study and you have to succeed. And there is no compromise, there is nothing there. So everybody is into education. And we do it mostly in English because that's the common language that we can. But then again, anybody who chooses to can also do it in the regional language. There is nothing stopping them from it. And I realized during my travel and then to Egypt with Luis, and he was talking a lot about your country. And I realized you guys do it in your regional language. You study, and that's nice. So your friend studied there in Mumbai, the message.
Yes.
Did you happen to visit him?
Yes,
Hi.
my friend is studying in 3 months in Mumbai in 2018, and he developed a project about the cars. He like it very amazing the culture, the education system, and he traveled for some different places in India, and very very amazing. Included, uh, I have a gift of the India.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Are you
And
okay?
hi,
Hi, Fabiana.
Hi.
Hi,
hi.
Fabiana.
Hi, Luciano. How are you?
I'm all right, and you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. I'm happier now because you can help me. Because to tell you the truth, I think Indian accent is one of the most difficult. But let us see.
Let me know if I have to repeat anything or be slower for you to understand my accent.
Well, that's one of the things that I was thinking about asking. So, how can we get? Oh, they look how beautiful. It's probably from India, right? Rai is showing something there. A key ring.
Yes.
Oh, wait, I can't see him. Wait, what is it? Oh, that's nice. Do you know what that is?
Yes, my friend have gift me when I come
That's
back
nice.
to
So
Brazil.
he is Ganapati. He's a god here. He is Ganapati. He's known for good luck and for new beginnings.
Yes,
Yes. So he's half man and half elephant. He has a
yes,
face of an elephant and he's a man. So he's more than a man. Like he was there ages ago, centuries ago. And then we pray to him.
Oh, I have questions about religion too. And but then let me just stick to the accent first. So
Yes.
students, I'm an English teacher too. So is Fabian. I don't know about you guys. I can't remember who is an English teacher here too. And then they keep asking, how can I learn Indian accent or how can I understand them better? Because for us, it's a big challenge, when they first get to, when they have like conference calls with Indian people, they go like, what? Can't understand a thing. So I don't know. I don't know if you happen to have any kind of tip or something.
So I would tell you why we have an accent first. And then it's because of the regional language that we talk about. So each one has the city that they live in. They all have their regional language that they talk in, right? So because of that language, it sticks to you. So when we talk in any other language, we have to have that same tone. We have to have that same pause every time. And so it just comes along with us. For years, we've been talking in our regional languages everywhere.
But
And so
it's very interesting because when you started to speak, it was difficult. Now it is a little bit easier. So then that's the most fantastic.
that's nice to hear. You keep
I
hearing
have
us.
a lot of curiosity. What?
You keep hearing us, and then it gets better.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think
Yes.
I thought so. Practice, right?
Yes.
Practice makes
Akira,
perfect.
tell us what how did you feel when you were invited to come to us to join us and to do this interview?
I was very happy. So I was talking to Luis the other day, and then he told me that there's a beautiful initiative like this where we could all talk in English, and there is no shame, nothing stopping you, and everybody can talk in English, and then just help themselves out. And I find this beautiful. So who wouldn't want to participate in something like this?
It is. It's cute. It's so cute. Sorry. Sorry, I'm just barged in like this. Sorry. Good evening,
Hi,
everyone.
Celine.
I love the accent. I just simply like the melody. I like it very much.
Thank you very much.
Wow, guys, I'm so happy there are so many people here with us. Akira, how old are you?
I am 24.
Very young. May I ask what are you in college? What's your major?
No, so I did the Indian CPA, and then I'm working right now.
I see.
So I'm working for the Big Four Ernst & Young, if you've heard of it.
I'm not familiar with that. Can you give us some more details on that?
It's like the Big Four, like Pricewaterhouse, Deloitte, and then so this one is the Ernst & Young, EY. It's an accounting firm.
I see. For accounting?
Yes.
I see. So it's like a bachelor degree, but in the
I
way...
did a master's. I did my master's in finance.
I see. Fine. All right. All right.
But I didn't understand something.
Yes, go ahead.
Where are you working now? In which area too?
So I'm working in diligence. Do you know what like mergers? Do you know mergers and acquisition? mergers.
Diligence. Would you spell? Can you spell diligence? Would you type this word?
Diligence, absolutely. Just a minute.
Diligence. I see. So that's
Diligence. Diligence.
D-I-L-I-G-E-N-C-E. All right, diligence. Is that connected to management?
It's connected to mergers. It's connected to mergers when two companies want to merge.
All right, merge.
Yes.
When two companies merge.
Yes. So I'm working there.
There are two topics here that you could tell us a bit more. First one related to culture, and the other one about your profession. When it comes to culture, it's we are predominantly a Christian country.
Society.
And
Yes.
for us, the concept of polytheism, although we have people who have African religions here in Brazil, but polytheism is something really hard to understand for us. I mean, because we are taught since we are kids, like one God, one God, one God, and then suddenly we get to know that people have like many gods, and they have different personalities, and this is something really interesting. How does it go for you? How do you deal with so many gods?
So the country here, basically, we have several religions. So I can't. I mean, there are no majority, no minority, nothing. So we have several religions here, and each religion have their own gods. Like Christianity, you have Jesus, and you have different types of Christianity, right? Like you have Protestants, Catholics. So we have them, and then we have people from different faiths.
There is a bad sound somewhere.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So we have different religions, people with different faith and beliefs. So whatever you choose to believe, if you believe there is God, you choose to believe there is God, then there is. And if you choose to not to believe, then you are an atheist, and then you can also be. So you're the same here. And for people who choose to believe, there are several different.
I think it's yours, Fabiana.
Fabiana's.
So there are several different ways where you can show your belief, and that's how the different religions are born here. Anybody who wants to believe in the power of fire, then you have Zoroastrianism, where you pray to fire, and then you have Hinduism, Christianity, you have Islam, and so you have every religion here, and you have their space for it. Like each one have their own culture, they have their own festival, they have their own holidays, and they have their own celebration.
That's interesting.
And when you celebrate holidays and things, are there any conflict, or let's say, do people switch from one god to another easily?
Yes. So once in your life, if you ever in your life you feel that your beliefs are not fine and you want to change, so you're basically born into that religion, like you're born into Christianity, right? And midway through you realize that you want to change to, say, Hinduism, or you want to become an Islam person, then you can. Everybody has that freedom. So there is nothing stopping you from following whatever your heart wants. So you're born into one, and in case you don't relate to them, you want more, you can also raise your hand and say, I don't believe in God anymore. I don't think God exists. And you can be like, there's no proof. Like, I haven't seen God. So there are a lot of people who do that, right? And it's completely fine. You ever want to step back and say, I want time off. I'm not really a religious person. Then there you go. And there is nothing stopping you from following what you believe in.
There is no judgment from...
No judgment from...
No judgment.
No. People, everybody is going to be curious. And so you can't stop people from being people, right? Like everybody is going to ask.
Brilliant.
So they're just going to be curious and say, why did you do this? Maybe should I also do it? But then there is nothing stopping you from doing it. And the only thing here is that whatever we celebrate, you can see it's full of colors, and everybody chooses to celebrate loudly. Like there is no stopping you from celebrating whatever you believe in, right? Like you can, on the road, on the streets, you can see them dancing and singing in any festival. And it's like a carnival all the time during the functions and festivals. And this culture allows it. This culture says, there, you want to dance, go dance. You want to celebrate and be merry, be merry.
Very interesting. Sorry, Luciano, if I have.
No, I'm just, I'll control myself here so I don't monopolize her. I mean, I'll keep.
Yes.
So
We
we'll
have
have the
to.
chance to speak.
It's the hard part.
would
The
ask
hard
her
part is it.
all night long here. So many things to talk.
I am listening
I'm
to
here.
her because I can't.
I can't hear you. Sorry?
Fabiana, you're freezing sometimes.
Yeah. Calls a bit choppy.
Yes.
So can I ask you something? I mean, this may be fast, I don't know, but how is Gandhi for an Indian? How would you describe Gandhi?
Gandhi, so he is the father of the nation here, and we have utmost respect for him. You can read books on him, right? Like all of you have seen the documentaries, or you've read books, you've heard about him, right?
Yeah, but I'd like to know the feeling of an Indian person on how you feel about him. It's like how is it more like head of a state, religious person, a
Absolutely not.
revolutionary person?
A
No,
guru.
he is a guardian. Like he has been a guide for the entire country. He guides. So he used to, and we still follow his principles, and we're very proud of him. We're very proud to be from a country with such a person like Gandhi who stayed in it, and he got us our independence. So he told us that fighting violence with violence is not the way to go about it. And he's done that before in Africa, and then he came down here and he did the same here. He said education is top priority. You've got to know the stuff, you've got to see the world. There is no sitting inside the four walls for you. You've got to go out, and you've got to step up for what you believe in. And when somebody is being harsh, or when somebody is treating you violently, then an eye for an eye makes everybody blind in the world. So you can't.
Beautiful. An eye for an eye makes everybody.
Yeah.
So you can't really. You can't really answer violence with violence or arrogance with arrogance, right? You have to make the other person understand, saying, hey, these are my points. If you're not okay with it, then just let me be. There is no cause for dominance here. And so that's what he did when we were colonized. And then so he gave them a reply with non-violence. He said, I will not fight. And he put down all the weapons. And he said, I will not fight. I will fight it with kindness. I mean, it sounds funny when you say it, but then he did it. And he made everybody stop fighting, the country as a whole. And then, so there were people who were fighting as well. So, it's colonized. You've got to rebel. And there were a lot of people rebelling. But the way he rebelled was, he said, truth always triumphs. And I know I have truth by my side. So he followed every moral and principle out there. And then he just stood his ground. He said, I'll help the poor. I'll be myself. And then let's see where we head to. We know we're going to strongly put forward our opinions, and the other person can't say no forever. After a point, we're going to guilt trip you into giving us what we want, which is our independence.
That's great.
And he was a man of principle. Like he believed whatever he believed, he turned it into action. So everybody say these principles. It's very easy to throw these words around, but then it's very difficult to practice them, right? It's very easy to preach, easy to give a speech, right? Easy to go advice, but then very difficult for you to follow it on your day-to-day life. And he is one man who did it. He helped everybody. He kept his as a whole, and there were different individuals. Some wanted power, some wanted money, some wanted independence, some wanted to fight, and he held them all together. And he said, I am no less. This is my country, and I am no less. You know, he said English is not everything.
Sorry. Was he born from a rich family?
No, so he was, back then, nobody was rich here. You know, no Indian was rich. You can't call anybody rich here because we didn't have anything, you know, we owned to talk about. And then he was from a very low family here. And then he went abroad. He was a lawyer in Africa. And then he helped the Africans a bit. And once he was asked to step down from a running train because he was an Indian. He was a person of color. So they asked him to get off a train. They said, are you going to have to get off because I can make you get off because I'm superior than you are. And so he was a lawyer, he was in practice, and that put him to grounds. He said, what is happening around? You know, I'm a lawyer, I'm well read, I studied. But because I'm a person of different color, you're going to treat me differently, then there's something that has to be done about it. You know, there is nothing, we are equals. You study, I study. You work, I work. But today, thankfully, we are here in the community where the person that you are makes more sense than where you belong from, right? Like your education doesn't matter as long as you're a good person, as long as you're helping, and as long as you have some morals to live by. Each one has different morals. Each one has different principles that we stand by. And be whatever it is, as long as you follow it, then you're this equal to anybody else. And luckily here, we try to follow that as much as possible. And we have his picture in the currency. So he's the father of the nation here.
That's nice. How do you pronounce your name? Your first name?
Akila.
Akila.
It's like tequila.
Stress goes on the second sound. Akila.
Yeah.
So Akila, could you tell us a bit more about, I mean, maybe none of us are interested, not that we're not interested, but we may not go for the CEF certification. But since this recording will be on YouTube, so maybe it could be a reference material for further studies and so people could get information about that. It's not usual to get some CEF certified person. So could you tell us a bit about the experience and how to get there?
Absolutely. So I'm sure you've all heard of CPA, right?
Yes, CPA.
I mean, CPA is pretty common in the American countries. And so we do something called CA, Chartered Accountancy. So where we focus on finance and accounting. And it's a 5-year course. You don't have a university for it. And you get to study in classes that you take. There are no universities that is going to teach you this. It's like your integrated course. It's master's and undergrad.
So
you
hang
can
on
do
a
it
minute. You
straight
got
out of
the
school.
CE. Is it the CE or CEF?
CA.
CA.
Yes.
All
Chartered
right.
Accountancy.
Chartered. Sorry, can you spell that?
CHARTERED.
DER.
Chartered.
Chapter.
Okay.
It's like, yeah. But see, it's interesting. She says H instead of H, right? That's good.
Yeah. Charter. I think I'm still got it wrong.
It's like capítulo, chapter.
All right, thank you. Chartered accountant.
Yes.
Well, you
Never
said
heard
that
that before.
it is,
Hi, Fabiana. Sorry?
sorry, well, Akila, you said that it is not a college, right?
Oh, it's charter.
Tell us,
Yeah,
tell
charter.
us about a little bit about the teaching there, the learning there. How many years do you have to study? And for example, here in Brazil, we are in some changes. The students, maybe in the high school, they are going to choose some subject to follow his or her profession, things like that. So tell me about how did you choose? Why did you choose? And about how were you sure about this profession for you? Were you good at calculus always at school, things like that? Because, for example, when I see in my past, I can see that I was good at writing or calculus, literate on computers, things like that. So tell me about it, please.
I'd love to. So, to talk about me, I was always good in school. I was always into studying, and I was good at math and English, which is a funny combination to have. So I was thinking if I should pursue something in accountancy or if I should pursue something in literature, like writing. So I write for magazines now. I still write. I still pursue what I like. But I love accountancy. I love maths. So accountancy is a little different, of course, but I love accountancy. And that's how I came into this, sector. And then, so there are several colleges in India. And if in case anybody wants to pursue undergrad or masters, then there are different fields you can look at here. And there are different beautiful universities giving you education here. However, it would be mostly in English. So anybody who's good with that is always welcome to study here. And so the particular course that I was doing, I did my undergrad and then in finance. So this is like a master course where you don't have to go to the university. You also have to work. You have to work for 3 years while doing this course. You have to do something like an internship for 3 years. And then you get like a work certificate for your experience. And then you can write the final exam. So this particular course has 3 stages. The first stage would be your entrance exam, where they just decide if you have the knowledge to get into the course. And then the second level, where you'd have to give around 8 papers, would be a year after this. And there are different classes where they teach you. So you don't have a university, but then you have classes across India. And then once you clear the second level, then you'll have to work for 3 years. And you'll have to work with any accounting company. So I chose Ernst & Young, a Big Four. And then I stuck with them throughout. So you can choose any firm that you want to intern in for 3 years. And then once you're done with the 3 years, then you can go about writing your final exam, which is the last step in this course. And once you clear it, then it's almost like you have a postgraduate degree. It's equal to a post-graduation. And it's said to be a very tough course, one of the toughest courses in India. People less than 10% of those who write pass the exam, which means 10 out of 100 people, maximum 10 out of 100 pass the exam.
It's a really hard one.
Yes.
And you're so
But
young.
it's worth it.
Yes,
Yes, so I didn't write
24.
What's your position there at the auditing company?
I am an associate.
All right. How long to become a partner?
8 years.
I see. Wow, fast track career, huh?
Yes.
Do you have a team?
Yes, so we have a team for the particular mergers division. and then we go about. So I worked in a different department as well, and then I'm trying this one out just for education, like just to learn. And I'm very curious on how mergers happen because it's a very fascinating subject. It's a very interesting subject. So I'm trying to learn as much as possible in this.
Did you
And
deal with corruption stuff, and because it gets difficult sometimes, doesn't it?
So the corruption makes the country difficult, but then that is what I'm working on. It does not have anything to do with what I'm working with.
Oh,
But
okay.
corruption is for the entire country to deal with, right? Like, sadly, it's all over the world, but we also see it here. We see corruption everywhere, and we see people bowing down to it, and you're helpless. So hopefully, the coming generations here, the politics is changing. So everybody is getting aware, and then knowledge helps. If you're aware that you should not support corruption, then there you go. There is some change in you, right? So there is no use complaining. There is no use saying, "Hey, there's corruption there." Unless and until you go change it, then there is no point. It's always going to be there. If you don't go clean it, then it's always going to be dirty. It's just going to get dirtier for you. It's only going to spread. It's like COVID. If you don't help it in the beginning, then you can't really help it later on. You can't complain saying, "Hey, people are dying." People are going to die. People are going to get affected if you don't do anything about it.
we have to be aware. Exactly.
Yes.
Aware
And act. You have to change your awareness into actions. Like, you have to do something, right? Maybe you spread the word, you tell everybody, you tell your kids, you tell anybody who can hear you saying corruption is bad. Don't do it. Then maybe 1 out of the 10 will change. They would be like, okay, so I'm not gonna go that way. I'm gonna go the straight arrow. I'm gonna be fine. And there you go. You have a change. You have something to talk about. You have somebody listening to you.
You will
So
stand
sadly, we're
out.
all okay with it. Yes, sadly, we're all okay with it. All over the world, we know there's corruption there. So, we just think that corruption is there in the other country more than ours. There's nothing to be happy about it. You still have corruption. So
Exactly.
you have to act. It's not like the other person is sicker than you. You're both sick. So you have to act. And the more you act, the more you think about it, the more you talk about it, then there are more people who want to bring a change.
Yeah, auditing is one of the cornerstones
The
that
tools, right?
protect
One of
us
the
from that,
tools
right?
in order
Yes.
to avoid that.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's why it fascinated me. It made me very curious on what is auditing. Like, why do you need somebody to stand there and check your financials? Why do you need somebody else to see it? And then, so there is like a lot of avenues. You have taxation reforms. You have different things you can do as an auditor. So something that intrigued me was, what all can you do about it? Like, what all can one person do? What functions can you do? And so now I am trying out a different function of mergers on how this happens and how, two companies completely different get together on the same point and how a business develops after that. So not everybody merges for money. Some merge for the market, some for your customers, and a lot during COVID. So how do they deal with the situations here? And that made me curious.
Are there any startups in India?
Absolutely. So there are millions of startups here. Predominantly in finance you have, and then you have it in the IT sector.
Okay.
Finance and IT, you have a lot of startups. I might not be able to name a few because there are a lot and they keep changing. So
the majority of the people in those startups are the young people?
Yes. Because they have a newer idea. So the as you go older in life, you want more stability. You want a job that always pays. You don't want to take risks in life. So we can't generalize, but that's the pattern, right? As you grow older, you want something stable. You want You want the money to keep coming in every month. You don't want to gamble anymore.
Exactly.
But as you're young, you can gamble. You have the freedom to go try out something new. You can just give it a try and then see if it works, it works. If it doesn't pick up, then you can always go back to another job. So the ageism kind of works there. People are ready to hire you as younger you are. And you
Well,
have more ideas.
no, I'm sorry.
No, you were saying it's okay.
Yes. I would like to know a little bit about the education in India because I would like to understand about that there are more opportunities for young professionals about the academic career or entrepreneurship or working in some company. I would like to understand about that. I finished my study and where are you? There are more opportunities in which segments, which areas?
So which segment are you interested in? What are you interested in?
In general.
Okay. So the education system here is very helpful. To be very honest, it's booming right now. It's developing on a yearly basis. So starting from schools, so we changed the curriculum to be more easier for people from other countries. We've made it more nationally, nationwide. It's accepted. So everybody in different states will have the same education system. So there is some equality there, and then once you go in schools, we give you an option to decide if you like finance, finance side of it, or if you like arts a lot, or if you like science. But going forward, we're trying to teach them everything. Why do you want to narrow down your options? You can always decide later on in life because you're too young back in school to decide. So going forward, we're going to, give them a piece of arts, give them a piece of finance side, and then say, hey, how do you like the taste of it? Maybe going forward down in life, when you're old enough to decide, then you can choose one for yourself. You don't have to study one right now. And so after that, once you go into the university level for undergrad, then we've always been known for science. We've always been known for mathematics and finance. So the banking range here is one of the top in the entire world. Our banks have always been stable, toucher. So the finance that has been going on here, we might not be the richest country, but we know what to do with the money. We know how it has to be done. And so the banking, and we've done a lot in science, the spacecrafts, the mission to the moon. So, we've done that. And it's still growing. As a country which is still growing, in any field that you look into, you can find different opportunities. So you can create your own opportunities after a point of time. So that's the beauty of a country which is growing. A developing country is basically, you can choose your study, whatever interests you. And then you can be like, you know what, I'm going to start something new here. I'm going to have my own line, because that's welcome here. Startups are welcome here. It gets easier for you to do a startup here. The government supports you. You have funds that they flow in. You have tax helps that gives you. You don't have to pay tax for the first few years if you're doing a startup. And so that all that is so that you develop. You don't have to worry about these things when you are a startup, right? You have a lot of other things to worry about, like your idea, your employees. And so you don't have to worry about money and government and tax at those times. So it gets easier for you to focus. So to talk about education here, yes, it would be really nice if all of you try your field. If you want to look into it here, then you hit me up personally. And then once this call is over, and then I can give you a few examples. I can suggest any universities that you would want to look into, personal, choices. But on a general note, you can look into science and finance here, because we concentrate more on those areas. anything that has to do with agriculture. This is a country which was formed by agriculture. We came up as a country with agriculture. 75% of the people here used to be farmers. Because we need all the development here. Yes, rice, paddy, maize, wheat. So we do all the developments here, but we anyways go back to food, right? You can't survive without food. And that is how this country came to be. We came to be as people who worked in the fields, who gave you the food. So ideally, so we come from the background where you're supposed to pray to the farmers. You're supposed to thank them every day. So we have a function, like it's called Pongal or Baisakhi in the beginning of the year or during the harvest season, where you thank them for their efforts, where you pray for their well-being and not yours. And you thank them for whoever they are. And just, they got the food to your plate, right? They gave you whatever you're eating today. And you have it and they don't because you have money, sadly. So they are still poor, and you should do whatever you can to help them out. And you thank them and you pray to them and you respect them. You pray to somebody you respect. You see at a higher stature, right? You give them a God level complexion, like you give them a God level respect, and that's where you pray to them. And that's how this country came to be. Today we are succeeding in different fields, but it all started, the first dot of all this was agriculture. So anything that anybody wants to study about agriculture, then there is no better place than here. We might not have the top technologies, but we know what has to be done.
I once met two scientists who came here to meet with our scientists and plantation, sugar cane plantation. They were specialists. We had a barbecue together. A friend of my husband's, she works at Zauki, and she studies about sugarcane. And she was friends with these two scientists. Of course, I don't remember exactly where from, but they exchanged a lot of important things regarding sugarcane and techniques and things like that.
So one of the things that you can look into agriculture here is how we do manure. For the plants to grow, you need something called the fertilizers, right?
Right.
The insecticides, pesticides, and the fertilizers. But as a country, we believe that manure, which is homemade, it's made from the natural items.
So manure, I'm sorry, you're saying manure, manure.
So manure basically helps the plants grow faster and it more healthier rather. So we believe in such techniques, for example, we have a lot of homemade recipes that we follow here. We have a lot of ancestral passed down, like your grandmom gives you some remedies for recipes, then you note it down and then you follow it on a day-to-day basis. So manure is something like that for us. It's less of
how's
chemicals.
Your chicken curry and rice?
Yes, it's spicy and buttery, and it's exactly how it should be.
Is that how it should be? So you mean that the world does not eat well, and India knows how to spice things properly.
Yes, the world should come here, check it out, how Indian food is made, and then, you know how actual Indian chicken curry is.
I wonder how it tastes there. I mean, the real chicken curry and rice in India, that must be really
it's a day of hard work, and then the food that you eat afterwards, it's completely makes it worth it. So it's not over the top spicy, it is how it should be. So basically spice makes you active. You stay alert after it because you eat spice, you can't sleep. Yes. So
very alert.
So it works like coffee for us.
Akila, projections show that by 2022, India will overtake China in population. And then what is it like to be one of in the most populous country, and the relationship with space there must be something complicated, although it's a vast territory and all, but so many people, right? And growing. So how do you see that?
We basically, to be very honest, we see that as a power. We are trying to reduce the population, but again, we're very proud of it, right? More the population, then more number of success stories. The more people would succeed, and more people will contribute to the country actually growing up as well. So along with the population also grows up your GDP levels or your development, right? Lesser number of people, then lesser hands to work. So we see the silver lining in this situation.
Could you say that again?
The more number of people, more hands that can work.
Okay, makes sense.
So we see the silver lining in this. We see the more number of people who can study, more number of people who can just work and help the country out, more ideas. So why keep crying about something that is increasing when you can help them increase? There is a lot of smart people here. Like Google, the head of Google was Sundar Pichai. He is an Indian. He came from India. The head of Coca-Cola, she was an Indian. So you have, and then our rocket scientist was our president. One of our presidents was a rocket scientist, Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So
I've just calculated now. You've got roughly 18% of the world population there.
18.
If you add up with China, it's like 36. Like that's a lot of people there.
Do you believe there is still more room? Are you comfortable with a couple of million more?
And growing.
As a couple of million more you grow, people also tend to go away. You tend to move away to countries, right? Sadly, there are always one small population who tend to find something else interesting. Like the other side is always greener. The other country is always more interesting for you, right? You always want to move. You always want to see the world. So there's also a small population who will. You can't stop them, and you can just be happy that they're going to go there and spread the word of the country, right? Like that happens everywhere. But honestly, we're trying to reduce the population, but we're also trying to increase the resources that helps the population. Like we don't want to blindly reduce the number, but we want to see that the number that exists, if you can equip them, if you can make each and every one of them smart, if you can make them hard workers or people with good ideas, then why not have more of them? There is nothing wrong in having more of smart people across. So once the number is increasing, we're only trying to make each one a fitter person, a better person. So a government here has been trying.
Do you have any kind of birth control politics policy that comes from government because I know that in China they do, right? They have a really strict birth control.
Here there is no strict. Here there are no strict policies. You cannot tell a person how to live their life. So you have to give them the freedom to choose if you want to have birth controls or if you don't. It's your choice. So here we do promote birth controls very, very highly. So the government has advertisements, and we have certain policies, and we have initiatives by them where you tell the lesser fortunate people who are working, the working class, the ones who actually make the country. So we go tell them saying, hey, you don't have to have 10, 15 children. You can have 2 healthy ones. It was a thing of the past, to be very honest. Around 20, 30 years ago, or maybe say 50 years ago, people used to have several kids because there were no concept of birth controls 50 years ago. But then today there is. Today, each family with 1 child or 2 kids is good enough. You're happier because you're healthier. So when they had like around 15 kids or 10 kids, some used to die because they were not very well nourished. You didn't have proper food for them. There were 15 in the family. So now we find it difficult in other countries to have 2. Can you imagine all your 15 kids in your house all the time and giving them education and food and clothing and shelter? And considering 50 years ago, they were not a rich family, right? Like predominantly, we were not all rich. So stemming from that, more on to the healthier side of it, more on to see who is healthy and who is not. And so birth controls came to be. Then they came to tell us how you can still have 2 kids and all be healthy. Then it would be more than enough, right? More than having 15 kids who are very sickly. So that's how the birth control came to be. Abortion is still a debated subject, because they still been.
It's illegal. It's a crime.
It's a crime if you're going to see the gender of the baby and then decide you don't want to have that gender. So it's a crime once you see what gender the baby is. It's crime to identify the gender beforehand, because so there was a pattern. There was some social evils. There was a pattern back where you didn't want girls. You just wanted the guys because they could earn faster. So I mean, it's not a notion we're proud of, but there was a tiny part of time where people believed this all over the world and people acted on it here. But then, so the gender bias stopped. Now, in the recent times, there are no gender bias. They are equal. The women empowerment courses have been widespread here. So there is no gender bias there. But so it's a crime to identify the gender of the baby and then abort. However, abortion is still a heated subject. They're still debating, but everybody here believes that you cannot tell somebody else what to do with your body. It's your thing. It's you do you. So nobody else has the right over your body. You have the complete freedom to decide. So it's still a debated subject. Like even the developed countries haven't come to a conclusion on it. I see America debating on it.
Exactly.
So I mean, we have a lot of years ahead of us to decide. But then again, we only keep propagating. We only keep saying that don't kill a child because it's a girl. Don't do female feticide. Like, both are equal. So we were there 50 years ago, and today we're telling them about birth control. So you don't have to regret any decision that you make. So it's more on to the healthier side of it than the population for it.
What about rape as a crime? We always hear sad stories of Indian girls being victims of sexual abuse. Do you know the numbers there? The news that we get here is everything real. We get the most horrifying stories of girls being raped by not just one but 4 or 5 men. Is that a fact?
I am not the best person to answer for the entire country, but for as far as I know, it is there. Sadly, we have a sad history with such abuses and assaults. So I cannot deny that there has been none, but there are. Like in I'm not comparing, but then every society has these social evils, right? You have people crossing onto the line, people who do not take consent. So we're trying to get the idea that consent is what goes by. You cannot just do it because you want to. There is something called consent. Sadly, many of them, yes. So consent means both of you want it. You both mutually decide that you want something, right? It is not one overpowering the other. So that becomes assault, that becomes abuse. So we're trying to sadly, many did not know that consent or mutual agreement was something to be taken care of. Many were not aware. So we're trying to get the word out, and many suffered in silence across the world. They think the victims are to be blamed, and so that's where it goes by. And the country here, we try to we pray to women. We think women and the female gender as such a superior. We have a lot of gods who are female. So having said that, a country who prays to female, who say the mothership is to be pristine, it's pure. And being a country to say that, and having assaults in the country, having violence against women is something very sad. And we're not proud of it. But we're trying to help them. We're trying to create helplines where women can call, and any domestic abuse, any violence there. We're trying to have emergency lines if you're walking down a dark road. So Gandhi once said, so Mahatma means a great person. So Gandhi was a great person, right? So Gandhi once said, true independence and true development of the country is not when you become rich. It is when a girl who is completely decked with jewelry or very expensive items can still walk alone in a dark road all by herself and be safe at the end of the road. So that is when a country is completely developed. So development is equally translated to that, to the safety of the people who are living there. So we're trying to get that word across. We're trying to tell them you don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to be quiet.
It's hard to, these are difficult topics to talk about. We have our issues here too, and all.
Exactly, very sadly.
Yeah, we have so many. And one thing that usually catches our attention is and I don't know for sure if it's a stereotype or not, is the caste system, which seems to be more rigid than it's our society. So how does it go in practice? The stratification, the social stratification of your society there.
So primarily two things I would like to talk about in this. One, we are a country with secularism, right? We have several religions here, a country with several religions and several practices. So having said that, people with different beliefs. So we're not a single religion dominant country. We have several.
So you mean the castes they come from religion and not from society itself?
So both. I'm saying it's interrelated. So a country with people with different beliefs, when you come across, there are going to be some disagreements. There are going to be people with completely different beliefs clashing on, right? So that's how it's per. And number two, so that's how we're different from the other countries. Is other countries, there's some dominance. There are majority of one particular religion, and it's a country known for that religion. But here we have several, that more than you can accommodate. We have people with beliefs coming up every day, and you have to respect every single religious group. And you have to accommodate every one of them in the normal day-to-day life. So that is where we differ, because you're trying to accommodate instead of saying, hey, you can't be here. So instead of saying that, we're going to be like, okay, you can all be here. Let's find a way for all of us to be here together. So that's primarily where you hear stories or you see the documentaries portraying us in the negative tone. And number two is these caste system, these stratification across the community was done in the last century. It was years ago, and that system is completely stopped now. It doesn't exist anymore in today's world. So the caste system or the Varna system, ideally, where you stratified or you differentiated people basis on the work that they do or the money that they have. So that is stopped. Always there's going to be a difference between the rich and the poor on a very sad note, and that's there across the world. So we are no different. There's always going to be there. And that hopefully it does not be there in the future, but right now it's there universally. So here, ideally, centuries ago, there was Varna system where you were differentiated on the work you do. If you're a farmer, then you're not superior. And if you work elsewhere, like you work in a bank or you work in finance, then you're superior to everybody else. And so that system is outdated. It is not followed anymore, and nobody supports it. As much as possible, people don't talk about it. And if they do talk about it, then they say, don't follow it. Be yourself. You don't have to listen to such stereotypes. You are who you are. You can be a beautiful human being and still be a farmer. You can still work. You can still quit education and be who you are. And there is nothing pressurizing you. The amount of money you have in your account does not define you. What you believe in and what you do every day defines you. So it's a concept that's outdated, and it's a concept, honestly, we do not have here. And even the small population that it does exist, even in the case it does exist, every day people try to, stop that from happening. You see something happening, you see somebody discriminating, then immediately you step up because it's illegal and you can be arrested for doing it. So the India that is portrayed and the India that actually is very different. India that actually is just like yours. It's different. We might not, say, we might, I don't know, be as developed according to the documentaries, the stories, but the stories that's spoken about are ages ago, centuries ago. And you can't paint a country with what it was. And what we were was a country with culture, with tradition, with royal kings, and we were one of the richest countries centuries ago. So that was what we were. We were people who believed in principles and morals. And then colonization happened, and each one became, they turned. Then the world developed, you started traveling, you started seeing the world, you started meeting other people, and then you had different beliefs, you changed. And now we are a country who's trying to accommodate all the changes, because no two people are the same. You're not the same as anybody else, right? In the person you are, in your beliefs, you're not the same. So we're trying to accommodate the different people, and we have a growing population, so it just keeps getting more challenging for us. As the population increases, we're trying to see, okay, we're going to fit all of you in. There is no discrimination here. And then we're going to do, like, universally, people have been doing for women empowerment, to develop women, develop the female, and we're doing that here. And I think a country who prays and who worships women, it shouldn't be a difficult part for us. It shouldn't be something too far away in the future.
Well, what kind of culture do you have there in companies, for example? Do you work more with collaboration or with competition, things like that? And the other thing, when you think about Brazil, what do you know about Brazil? What is Brazil for you? Because
what comes to your mind?
That's a good question.
The most important,
it's a very good question.
It's a very troubling question.
To these things is the culture exchange. For example, Akila, when I knew about the interview with you, I tried to look for something about the makeup in India. Okay, so I read it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's very nice. By the way,
I thought I put there kids like this or not. I use this because I really like this culture exchange,
And the colors are wonderful.
Yes. So when you think Brazil, what is Brazil for you? And the other thing, we are going to let this video on YouTube. So I think it is very important to talk about COVID-19 time. Okay. In Brazil, for example, today I saw some news, and I saw that some companies and multinationals are helping the education and the health system. So you, as an accountant, how can you answer for us? How are the companies leading with this situation in your country? How are the education and society leading with this? Education are education prepared for remote teaching, learning, things like that? Well, I asked so many things at the same time. Sorry.
No, I mean, these are wonderful questions. So these are the questions that I was here for. And I also start with the corporations, the working culture is, so we have a working culture, which is very much like yours, like any other corporate culture, right? We still wear the formals, we still wear the skirt, we wear a shirt to work. Our formal clothes are the same. So it's a country we're very conservative in nature, right? And having said that,
sorry, is the Indian cotton is still the best cotton in the world?
Yes, it still is.
Indian cotton is the best cotton in the world.
It's the silk is also the best silk here, and we weave it by hand. We have handlooms here. We support those who have their own, you know, who do it by hand, and we respect them. We have separate groups for them who help us out by giving us a beautiful hand woven cloth. And so that is first, yes. And so to address the corporate culture, our corporate culture is still the same, you know, it's the same as there is in other countries, in the Western countries. We work, we don't have, say, ours is more towards the American culture. We do not, we don't, I mean, we work a lot. Most of us are workaholics here. We don't have a sign off time, and we, as long as the work gets done, we're there. We're working till the work gets done. We need the work to get done. So we do not, we have a weekends off. So we're mostly like 5-day week or maybe a 6-day work week for us. So work wise, you wouldn't find much of a difference. As long as you're into whatever you're doing, work wise, you wouldn't find difference here. And clothing wise, there might be a difference with people wearing a traditional wears. But if you're talking about the corporate side of it, corporate culture is still the same. You wear whatever you can wear there. You know, you wear suits to work, you wear, you know, we don't wear a tie more often, but then everything else is the same. You wear a skirt, you wear pants suit, you wear a skirt suit. So, you know, work-wise, we're the same. The work that we do depends on the sector or the field you are in. So if you're into a very pressurizing zone, then you work long hours and you're okay with it. And if you're into a zone where demands that you need to go home in the afternoon, then good, you do that as well. So I don't think as a country we stand different there, more so. So to address the next point is, what was it? What is the question? Yeah, Brazil. So according to me, Brazil is a so again, I am not a person who's ever been there, and I'm looking forward to be there sometime soon after the entire pandemic settles down. And so to me, you're a country which is more liberal, you know, you're more free. You can be who you are, and there is nobody judging you. There is, because you're also different. There is nobody judging you for what you wear or what you say. And you can be more yourselves there. And you all love to celebrate. You're a very happy group of people. I've seen my friends, the Brazilians, and they party and they are so happy doing it. And it's the way how they show themselves, you know, how they express themselves, and it's beautiful. You do that regularly. You get to meet people regularly, and I feel your country is more towards the young generation more than the, you know, the elder ones. You are more towards a very young group, and your activities are you know, aiding them. It's not calm and composed and silent. It's more of joyous and colorful and loud. And you know, I've seen yes, I've seen the union, and that's all a good thing. It's all a good thing. It's all a compliment from us. So
you must
that's
come
where
for a carnival, you know.
Yes, I'm looking forward for the carnival. I heard one just got over. I think in February you had a carnival, or beginning of the year you had a carnival. Yes. So I mean, so that is one point, and so it's all a compliment. It's all coming from a good place, and we've heard beautiful things about your country, and so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to travel there. I want to see how different you guys are and how same we are. It's just how we don't know each other that well yet. We are so far away geographically that we even being the same, we just don't know it yet.
But we share so much in common.
Yes.
Do you have any curiosity about the language?
Absolutely. I mean, more than the language, I have curiosity on about how you maintain your system there, like how is the education system and how you maintain your environment, because every time I see pictures and they are breathtakingly beautiful, and all your houses are, so these are the basic understanding that a person has over the internet, right? As I've not been there, and I have a bunch of friends who tell me about Brazil. So I would love to know about your life there, like how is it?
Really nice. I like to see the kind of dancing from your country too. I have watched some movies. the one that is my special, and it is one of my favorite one. It is As a Star on Earth. Do you know it?
Can you type it down?
Movie?
No, I will check it out. No, I don't.
It's a beautiful one.
Oh my God.
Oh,
It is
Can you type, Fabiana?
Do you know
the movie? With dyslexia.
Type on the chat.
Okay, I'm going to type. It is wonderful because it tells about a disability child and how the teacher teaches. Oh my God, it is wonderful. You have to do that.
And was the dyslexic student a painter? Did he paint in the movie?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful movie. In here, we call it Tare Zameen Par.
Yeah.
Tare Zameen Par.
Okay, I'm going to type. I'm going to type to Celine. Go ahead, Luciano, for me, please.
No, but
because I'm trying to be computer literate.
I've seen the movie.
She's seen the movie. She knows it. Tarek is the main actor, isn't it?
Ahmed Khan is the main actor, yes. It's a beautiful movie about a dyslexic student and how he teaches him to paint, like express himself through painting, and he teaches him to be a normal kid, you know, whatever a normal kid is. You say that you're not different, and there's no shame in not being good at education. So
Akila, I've just realized, do you have Bollywood in your Netflix?
Yes, we do.
Oh, that's cool, isn't it? Because we don't. I mean, we don't get.
Yeah, we don't get anything from Bollywood, no.
No, we don't get much. But I'm really curious. I like and there's always some dancing, right?
Yes, there's always a song, there's always dancing, there's always people singing, and then so that's entirely what our movies are about. Our movies have drama, have romance, have mystery and suspense, and every movie has a song, at least one song, 1 to 5 songs.
I know.
Have people dancing, and that's what our Indian movies are about, right? You always have people dancing.
The movie's going on, and then suddenly, boom, people start dancing.
Yeah,
so it's never boring. It's never boring. You just don't miss it. Like, it's never boring.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I like it. Let me ask you a really specific one. It's my last one. I know you probably have to go to work soon. So about cooperatives, that's what I like to study, and I believe that's the next step of capitalism. I think cooperatives are a good way to make a more sensible and just world. How much of cooperatives do you have there? I mean, I don't mean statistically speaking, but your feeling about that, you know, since you work with
cooperatives, or what exactly are we talking about here?
Yeah, cooperatives. I mean, do you have a lot of cooperatives there, or as like institutions?
If I've understood right, then you're talking about the corporations and the cooperative side of it, right? Like cooperative societies and the corporate world as such.
Yes, co-op.
You're talking about the corporate world?
Yeah, is it something, you know, like, I don't know how you call it there, but cooperatives, it's like a group of people that work together and share the profit.
Yes,
it's more like a not union, but let's say maybe doctors. Doctors come together and they consolidate a group, and that group will provide health or medical examinations as an enterprise. So what we have, the word in Portuguese is cooperativas.
Here we call it
cooperative. I don't know the word in English. I also don't know.
Is it so? You don't have to. Just want briefly you to tell me if it's something present there or it's not.
1 minute. Let me just type it out for you, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Come again.
A co-op, exactly. A cooperative.
Yeah. Cooperative.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
Yeah, it's more like a corporation. Corporation where
basically
the
a group of
partners.
people. Yeah, so a group of people who have similar beliefs and they get together for the set cause. It's something similar to partnership, but you know it has its differences, and we have that coming up here, and we have that developing. But I don't have a lot to talk about it per se, because I'm towards the corporate side of it. So I have clients, so co-ops, and it's a beautiful way of business. But then again, I am towards the corporate. I am a person who believes that, you know, the other world is out there, and co-ops are the small players who can make a giant difference, who can do big things. And as a union, as a group of people who are together, it's developing, and luckily, touch wood, this is going on fine for them. And but I am more towards a belief of startups. And I believe startups are the next way of business, because startups have they're miracle workers. Like they have some magic in them because they are fresh ideas. So I am a person who believes in startups and of corporate side of life. I believe that the next way how the country is going to go, the universe, I mean, the world is going to go is towards the corporates. Even though, you know, there are better avenues, people like startups should be given the option. I think we're going to that range.
Okay, that's lovely.
Okay.
So much in common. Two big economic whales met today. Brazil and
I'm glad I met all of you.
Yeah.
You know, I had something to learn from everybody. And Augusto, I'm really looking forward for you to come here and see something that you like to study in.
Thank you very much for sharing everything. You were so helpful, and it was very nice to have this time with you. Does anybody
I really hope all of you
any?
just come down here and have a breath of fresh air for you. You get to see how a different culture and a different tradition, how we go about things and how we do things, and see how similar we are living so far apart, and how there are so many things that to us, the way we dress, what we eat, the makeup. We would love to experience you guys here. And let anybody can hit me up. Anybody who wants to travel down here can hit me up. And I will tell you about the different dance forms in every city. Each city has its own dance form, and they have their song, the way they sing. And, you know, it's something that you should experience once in your life. Maybe through Louise, I would send in a few links for the traditional dance forms here and traditional song, like the way of singing. And then you can all experience a part of India living there.
That's great.
It would be nice.
That's lovely.
Really lovely.
Lovely meeting all of you. I have
Selene,
to thank
Likewise. Excuse me?
If Louis is still here, then I have to thank him for giving me this brilliant opportunity of me meeting all of you and taking up a bit of your time on a Monday evening. And it's Tuesday morning here, so
it's been a pleasure talking to you.
It was really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Celine. Thank you. Is Louis still on the call? Is he still here?
I don't know.
No.
Luiz, are you there? Oi, Luiz, tá me ouvindo? Luiz. I don't know. I don't think so.
So it was beautiful meeting all of you. And in case any of you want anything more to know about India, then you can hit me up. You can contact me personally. And then I would love to talk more about it.
Could you share your email?
Of course. So let me just type it down in the box. So any of you can reach out to me in case you want any more details, you want to know. And if you want to see the dance form of ours, you want to hear something more, or you want to hear me talk, then please, you can reach out and then we can connect.
That's great. Lovely. Okay.
So you can reach out to me via email or any social media platform, and then I'd be there.
Are you on Instagram?
Yes, I am. So let me just give in my handle so you can
Fine.
search for me. Is this good?
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm copying. Oh,
So let
Louise
me
is
know.
back. There you go.
Oh.
There's Louise.
Hi, Louise. I was just thanking you for giving me this opportunity of meeting these people. And I hope they were able to follow my accent and just it was not big of a problem.
Not at all.
It was no, not really.
It's a
That's
pleasure.
lovely. So thank you very much. It's been a huge pleasure. It's like traveling to India without
exactly
the plane, isn't it?
Without leaving
I've given you an hour of a bite of India, as long as I want you, I've given that feeling that you have to visit, then I've done my part right. As long as you want more of it, then
that's lovely.
Yeah.
So
thank you a lot for accept this, and I will go into India, me and Gabriela, and I have another meeting in other room there, but I'm only stay this call for you talking with my friends in here, because I see here it's we will pass 1 hour and a half, and it's the most talking in this project.
Yeah, so far we have a record.
yes. But thank you. I saw in the chats we share your contacts. It's nice, and we have new friends in Brazil now. And if you want to come in, please.
Exactly.
You have plenty homes here to spoil for choices.
It's a beautiful thing to hear. Thank you so much. And all of you, I cannot say, and I wish I had more time to talk about India and more, in elaborately. But anything you want to know, anytime you feel like visiting and to have a bite here, then please, you're all welcome, and we can all host you here. So feel free. There are several cities and states for you to visit, and every culture to experience, one different from the other. One side north is different from the south, east from the west. So you'll have a multitude of experience in just one country. So feel free.
Yeah, it is also continental inside.
Yes.
Pretty much.
So everybody can accompany Luis when he comes to India, and then it would be very nice.
Yes, nice. Thank you, and good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Good
It's
morning
going to
for
be
you,
8
and good
a.m.
night
here.
for us.
Yes.
I will finish the live in YouTube now. And thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you. I miss you.
Thank you very much. Good
Yes.
evening, everyone. Good night.
Good night, all of you.
It was really nice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Louis.
I got all your contacts. I'll be in contact and sometimes
Yes,
ask you
please be in
questions
touch.
about India,
Yes.
Akila.
Absolutely. So I can ask you all about Brazil, and you can show me what
Sure,
your
you
country is.
should.
Right?
Yeah, you
I'd
should.
love to know.
You should come to Brazil and especially for Carnival, and then you're more than welcome to stay with one of us, or maybe a bit with each one of us, because we are in different locations, right? So you could enjoy different places.
I would love that. Then I have a home there. Like I have several people do, so I've got to come to Brazil then.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Is it okay to say namaste?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So namaste is one of the best ways to say, because you're socially distant, especially during the COVID season. So it's one of the healthiest and safest way.
Then namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. So that's like greetings from our side.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis.
Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Bye, Marley.
Bye-bye, Mali. Thank you.